Hi everyone! So a few weeks ago I saw that Taylor do a video called something like what were my first few Sephora orders, and she went through the items that she'd first gotten based on what Sephora online says, and I thought it was such a genius idea. So I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna scroll way back in history, see what my first few purchases were, and let's just talk about them. So before we get into this video, I will mention that I actually shopped at Sephora in France before it ever came to North America. I was 14 years old, so it must have been 1997, and I was in Limoges, and I bought a few things from the Sephora there. I remember I bought like potpourri, Sephora branded potpourri that smelled like ocean stuff. I'm pretty sure I bought a little perfume, and I'm pretty sure I got a hair clip as well. A barrette, if you will. I remember they also sold a lot of perfume back then, but I don't think most of the makeup was anything other than Sephora branded makeup. It's been a long time though, so I don't remember very clearly. All right, so I've got my computer here and I've loaded it up with my purchase history. Now, strangely enough, my order history was not working. It was not showing me anything prior to 2016. But for whatever reason, my purchase history is working. Now, I know that this is not actually everything because I opened this account when I was in the US. Now, the Sephora Canada and Sephora USA connect. The points go across both sides, and it doesn't matter if you're spending Canadian or US funds, but it doesn't have those purchases. And I know at one point it did, so I don't really know why some things are gone. But my first order was actually in store, and it was December 30th, 2011, and I bought one blush, and it was the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in the shade Exposed, which to this day is still one of my favorite blushes, and it was the second one I ever owned. My husband bought me the shade Blissful for Christmas that year, and it's the only blush that I've actually hit pan on. I hit pan on Exposed, not Blissful. Phenomenal color. It's basically a nude that looks so boring in the pan, but for whatever reason, it's just totally transformative on the cheeks. So yeah, still really like that. Oddly enough, my next order at Sephora was another in-store one, but it was 2 years later. On September 6th in 2013, I bought the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. Now, I don't think that was the first time I'd ever bought the primer potion because I had discovered it a few years before when I first got into watching YouTube videos. And the primer potion was monumental for me. Prior to me using eyeshadow primer, I just thought eyeshadow crease, and that was just a fact of life. I didn't think there was any way around it. And when I finally got the primer potion, the first tube I ever bought, I was just like, this is miraculous. Now, sadly, I need 2 primers now, so my eyes have definitely gotten adapted to using eyeshadow primer, and it still kind of eats away at it. But yeah, the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer, I have really fond memories of that. Okay, so it was in 2013 that it looks like I finally started to go bananas at Sephora. On November 7th, 2013, I bought the Tarte Off The Cuff Amazonian Clay blush palette. That was a holiday launch for that year. It's got the 4 blushes and a bronzer, and that's still my #1 travel palette. I bring that thing with me everywhere. The bronzer I've almost hit pan on, and the blushes are definitely showing a lot of love. Yeah, really like that, and I've been waiting for the day that they release another similar palette because I think that was a phenomenal launch for them. And it's funny, all these products that I bought years back, I still love like intensely. November 29th, 2013, I bought the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. I think I bought that as a gift for my friend because I'm pretty sure I already owned the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette at that point. I think, not positive though. I actually really don't like that palette. There's a few shades in there that are beautiful, but it's not worth having the whole palette for me. I found the looks could look so similar and so muddy over time. I think I gave away my Naked 2 palette because I don't use it, so didn't want it in my collection. On December 4th, 2013, I bought the Too Faced A Few of My Favorite Things palette. So 2013 marked the year that I became obsessed with Too Faced, really. That palette was phenomenal. It was so good, and I still use it quite a bit, which is kind of funny because it's got a lot of neutrals in there and the colors aren't especially enticing, especially considering how much eyeshadow I have now. But yeah, I really, really like that palette. And it clearly sent me into a tailspin on Too Faced products. All right, December 6th, 2013, I bought the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Ethereal Light. Oh my God, is that how old that thing is? I've been trying to finish that sucker up for apparently 5 years. I don't think it does anything for me. It doesn't look any different on my skin. I definitely don't look ethereal. It's basically a translucent powder as far as I'm concerned. I have hit pan on it and I'm determined to finish it up this winter when I start using it with like foundation or something, but I would never recommend that thing. In that same order, I also bought the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, and I remember I actually stayed up till midnight to purchase that palette because it was gonna get launched at Sephora overnight and I wanted to be like the first to get it. This was the start of like the makeup frenzy for me. And that palette I think actually did go out of stock throughout the day, maybe within a few hours of it launching at Sephora. And I was so happy because I stayed up and I got that purchase. Fundamentally, I don't really know why I went bananas for it because it's very pink. I'm not very much a neutral pink lover. I think I just wanted to complete my collection of Urban Decay Nakeds and I figured I had to have it. It's okay. I think the quality is good, but the colors aren't really to my taste. All right, to round out 2013, on December 27th, I bought the Stila In The Moment eyeshadow palette, and I know that was a gift from my friend Allison. She said she liked purples and she didn't really have a ton of eyeshadow, so I thought that that would be a good palette for her. I never actually owned that palette, but I'd had friends who really liked it, so I took their recommendation and bought it for my friend Allison. It's funny that not everything is logged here because I know in 2013 I also got the Laura Mercier Artist Palette, the one that was limited edition, but then they brought it back, but it's not showing on here, so I don't think this really has everything. Let's do a little bit of 2014. I don't know how long this is gonna go for, but January 7th, 2014, I'm pretty sure I probably had a gift card for Sephora after Christmas. I bought the Makeup Forever glitters in the shade 13, which is a silver holographic glitter. Still have it, still use it. It's absolutely beautiful. March 14th, 2014 is my next Sephora order, and I actually did this in stores somewhere around Baltimore, I think it was. I was on vacation with my friend and I went like nuts at Sephora. Pretty sure I bought more than what's listed here, but anyway. I bought the Tarte Airbuki Bamboo Powder foundation brush, as well as their Amazonian Clay full coverage airbrush foundation. Hated both of them. I returned them because I am not a powder foundation person, as I have learned, and I just looked like cakey and patchy and I was just not having it. So I took both the brush and the foundation back because there was just no point. I was not gonna wear it. But in that same order, I did also buy the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Diffused Heat, which is one of my favorite blushes to this day. It's so beautiful. They describe it as a vibrant poppy blush, and it looks like that in the pan, but it mostly actually comes off as a pale pink. I'm more attracted to that coral poppy tone, but the pale pink does look quite good on me, so it's kind of like the best of both worlds. I get like a nice flush and I get to look at the pan and it's quite pretty inside. And in that order, I also bought the Too Faced Chocolate Bar eyeshadow palette. So that was the first time I got a chocolate bar palette. Oh, and that's when they had really thick packaging. I am so disappointed how fat that palette is because it's so unnecessarily bulky. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the packaging. I wish I'd waited to get the slim one, but I just had to have it. Oh, that's funny. The next order, March 20th, 2014, I bought the chocolate bar palette again. I don't have two of them, I have one. But the first time I bought it, I didn't realize that one of the shadows was broken until I opened it and then realized it was busted. So I probably took that back and exchanged it for another one. In April of 2014, I started getting into LOLLLL products apparently because I ordered the Vanilla Grapefruit fragrance. Loved it, finished a whole bottle and bought a second one, and I'm halfway through that one right now. And I also got the Lavender Healthy Deodorant in this shade, in the scent Fresh Vanilla Lemon. I really like it, but I don't think it's effective for a long period of time, and it's kind of expensive. Like spending 17 bucks on a deodorant just feels a little bit unnecessary. It smells good, it is supposed to be healthy, but it just doesn't have the longevity that an antiperspirant has. In that order, I also got the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner. Really do like the tattoo liner, but I also don't need to be spending that amount of money on a liner anymore because the Physicians Formula one is just as good as it. So while that's a good one, I just won't be buying it anymore because I found a cheaper option. And I think I'll end it there. That's midway through 2014. So you got a taste of my first few Sephora orders. I can definitely see that I used to buy things more one by one. It was pretty rare for me to put in like a $200 or $300 order, which I am more inclined to do these days, but it's usually because I wait to buy things in bulk during a sale, or it's usually because there's a big collection launching. But yeah, it was interesting to look back. I can see that not everything is in there. I know my first purchase at a Sephora was in the US and I bought a Too Faced glitter glue, and I think that would have been in like 2010, and I know that was recorded at some point, so I don't really know why things are missing from Sephora online, but it was interesting to look back. You got to see some of my old purchases. If you scroll back in your purchase history, let me know what the first item you ever got at Sephora was. Maybe you don't have it in your order history, maybe you just remember it. Anyway, let me know because I'd like to hear what you first got at Sephora. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!